Hey, what's up? Welcome to a new reading vlog. So I decided this will be fun. This may not be fun later on, depending on how this book goes, but I decided it might be fun to do a dedicated vlog for Sophie Kinsella's new book. I'll get to that in a second. But first, to start off with the fact that on today's Thursday, on Tuesday, when the book came out, I went to Barnes & Noble. My membership renewed, so I got a new tote bag. The one I think everyone is getting this one now. I got a new tote bag. My books are in here. This is a bag of books, as the bag says. So first, I'm gonna do a little mini haul of the books that I got. We're gonna start off, we're gonna do the Sophie Kinsella's book last. So first off, I finally got Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. Not 100%. This is like a new take on William Shakespeare's Macbeth following Lady Macbeth. So there's gonna be spooky vibes in this. I'm excited. This is part of my spooky October TBR. This is part of my spooky season TBR. So I'm excited to get to this. This will be in another vlog. I also finally got Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan, I think it is. Brennan, yes. So this is basically, from what I recall, main character, she like lives in like the modern world but ends up in like a fantasy world, and it turns out that she's the villain. So this is like, I guess, like a villain origin story type of situation. Also, anytime I see the title of this, Long Live Evil, I just want to sing the song from the Descendants movie, Evil Like Me. Like, do you want to be evil like me? Don't you want to be cruel? I think that's how it goes. But yeah, I just want to like sing that song. So that's the second book I got. Oh, I'm excited to get to this. I think this is actually her adult debut. Then the book we're gonna be reading in this vlog, I got What Does It Feel Like by Sophie Kinsella. This is based on Sophie Kinsella's actual life, because she was diagnosed with brain cancer. She decided to like write a book about it. But this is a fictional story, but it's very much inspired by her true life. I'm gonna read the synopsis because it's short, and then since this is a dedicated vlog to this book, you'll know exactly what it's about. So, Eve is a successful novelist who wakes up one day in a hospital bed with no memory of how she got there. Her husband, never far from her side, explained that she has had an operation to remove the large malignant tumor growing in her brain. As Eve learns to walk, talk, and write again, as she wrestles with her diagnosis and how and when to explain it to her beloved children, she begins to recall what's most important to her. Long walks with her husband's hand clasped firmly around her own, family game nights, and always buying that dress when she sees it. Each of the brief anecdotes that comprise this book is an attempt to answer the type of impossible questions recognizable to anyone navigating the labyrinth of grief. This short, extraordinary novel is a celebration of life, shot through with warmth and humor, and it will both break your heart and put it back together again. So that's a synopsis. And what I've seen, like interviews that Sophie Kinsella has done. Also, I don't know if it's the name of the book. What does it feel like? From what I've seen of interviews Sophie Kinsella has done, I saw a clip where she was talking about how after she had her, the brain tumor removed, her husband will have to, she lost like her short-term memory. Her husband had to keep telling her like what happened, and that she had cancer, they had to remove a tumor and all that. So she kept forgetting, so he had to keep reminding her, and like how hard that was for both of them. But yeah, I'm excited in a way to get into this. Sophie Kinsella says it's still like a funny book, so I'm intrigued to see what exactly this book is about. Not about, but yeah, like what the story is. But yeah, I'm gonna be reading, and the reason I was like, oh, let's do a dedicated vlog is because this is a little baby book. It's a little over 100 pages. With the author's notes at the end, it's 126 pages. And also, like, compared to like this this paperback, like, yeah, it's a little baby book. Oh, also I had to ask someone at Barnes and Noble like where it was, because I couldn't find it. And then when the person that worked there found it, she was like, oh, I didn't expect this to be so small. And I was like, yeah, I didn't either. Like, I knew it was a short story, but I didn't realize it was gonna be so little baby tiny. But yeah, I'm gonna get started with this in a little bit, and I'm gonna annotate it also. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys again once I've actually started this book. Hey. It's days later. It's Saturday, October 12th. It's almost 7 p.m. and I did finish What Does It Feel Like by Sophie Kinsella the day that I started, so Thursday. I wanted to take a few days to like think about what I was gonna say about it. And did I think about it? No. We're just gonna like do this without thinking. This like review. So it's hard to be like, oh, I enjoyed this, because it's like a sad situation, but I feel like the whole point of the book was, well, first off, she says in her author's notes that yes, a lot that happened in this book is what happened to her in real life, so it's somewhat autobiographical, but she said that it felt easier for her to write about the situation, especially like the whole kids situation, because Eve in this, she has 5 kids, Sophie Kinsella has 5 kids, so she said that was easier for her to write about it, like it wasn't them, and using different names that aren't like the actual names of her children. So she says that it was easier to write it in a more fiction sense. Also, it's not completely like how, not everything is exactly how it happened in her life. There are a few things or story plot wise that she changed, so there's that point. But yeah, it's hard to be like, oh, I enjoyed this, because it's something like very like a sad situation, and like, yeah. So, but I would say, I'm gonna say, like, there are things about Eve that are very Sophie Kinsella, and it was like fun in a sense to pick those things out, things that are like not just like, I don't know, that if you like know a little bit about the author, you know, like, oh, I know what that's about. I'll give you an example in case. Okay, if you don't want to hear this, it's not really a spoiler, but it's just like a little like detail in the book that I'm like, oh, that's Sophie Kinsella. So in this book, Eve is an author like Sophie Kinsella is, and she writes like a very different book than she usually writes, and it's called Hey Big Spender. And the first line in the book, the first sentence is, okay, don't panic. And that is exactly how Sophie Kinsella starts each book in the Shopaholic series. I think there was only one book that she didn't start with okay, don't panic, but literally all the books in the Shopaholic series, that's how it starts. So it's like, oh, that's like a Sophie Kinsella thing. I don't know how to like describe it, but yeah. So there were like little things like that I'm like, oh. There were like a few like sad instances in this, but there wasn't anything that it like that would make you cry. Like, I didn't cry, but it's just like, you know, like how hard it must have been for their family going through this cancer diagnosis and the whole short-term memory thing, where Eve as well as Sophie Kinsella kept forgetting what happened, and her husband in both situations had to keep reminding her like, oh, you had a tumor in your brain, they removed it. So yeah, so where was I going with that? Anyways, yeah, so there's that part of the book. Those are like the sad parts. It's just like the whole repeating, having to like retell someone that they have cancer. There were, of course, because Sophie Kinsella, a few like little giggle moments. Not anything like laugh my ass off, but there were a few things that did make me giggle about the book. Where's my key? Oh, and there were a few quotes also that I really enjoyed. And yeah. So overall, I really enjoyed. I didn't know what to rate this, so I haven't rated it. Just because even though this is fiction, it's still very much someone's life. So I'm not sure what to rate this. But I did enjoy my time reading this book. So that's my little review. Hope makes a little bit of sense. I don't know, but yeah, that is it. That is the video. So let me know if you have read this book or you're planning on reading it. It's very short. I think it was like 126 pages. It's not I'm not sure if it would be triggering for someone who like has dealt with brain cancer either in themselves or in a family member, but maybe just proceed with caution. But yeah, that's for you. So let me know if you're planning on, like I said, if you're planning on reading it, if you've already read it, what you thought about it, if you rated it, what did you rate it, but without any kind of spoilers. And yeah, I already said thank you, right? I believe so. So I'll catch you guys here next time on Yari Hearts Books.